Welcome. I'm Doug Skinner, your host. This is the journey of a data analyst, someone from RevOps or Sales Enablement going into a technical contributor role as a data analyst. And it's great to be with you today. I hope that you get some valuable information in exchange for your time with me. I'm covering the beginning agenda of Pragmatic Works with Power BI, and I think it's very interesting because it has bearing on artificial intelligence initiatives, projects, agentic systems that you might be looking at or building on. And let's begin. So it's about data discovery using Power BI desktop, using Power BI service, using Power BI mobile as a way to visualize insights that you might get from data. So we'll look at the introduction of modeling, a splash of DAX, introduction to visualizations and basic reports and interactive reports and refreshing the data. Let's begin. Why is business intelligence still important? The artificial intelligence queries are non-deterministic. That means you don't get the same answer with the same query at different times. It's a different answer every time. We need something that has more consistency, that has precision, that has the same answer at different times when that data has not changed. And we need to be able to rely on that data, especially if it has to do with business operations or if it has to do with financial matters. And so those are some of the backgrounders behind why business intelligence has a place, and the data that is represented through our BI tools needs to be something we believe, okay? And some of the big challenges that business intelligence users have are listed here. They need insight, they want to look at historical patterns, they want to be able to predict what's going to happen, they want to be able to integrate multiple data sources or different applications. They may not have visibility to the operations of their business, and they want to get something that they can dig into the numbers. A spreadsheet can only cover so much. Another thing that is challenging for business intelligence professionals, data analysts, is that it may be looking at long business cycles. It may be looking at low success rates. There may be results that don't map to the expectations and or costs. And so professionals need to understand that these may be friction points, right? And push past that. And so we've got different audiences and teams that work with it. So you can have personal business intelligence for your own tasks, and you'd be using that data to drive agility and or awareness and map yourself to objectives, personal objectives. Then there's the team, which has dynamics around collaboration and driving alignment with the team goals. And the virtue can be expanded with groups of teams driving alignment between teams on the corporate business intelligence level. So those are really going to impact your study, your processes, the models that you use, the data, how you drive adoption and enablement, depending on the class or the category. So which level of BI do you need? Well, do you want a quick prototype? can you think of examples where you're like looking for data? And I think that personal BI is a good place to start. So it could be that you have integrity issues around the data, hygiene issues on data. We'll go after that. It could be that your department needs to have something that coheres the team, brings the team together. So it could be Team BI, and the Power BI platform has advantages because it plays really strongly in all those three segments. And there is a toolbox behind it. The data that you can use can be coming from different web domains. Could be Google Drive, LinkedIn, straight out SQL databases. It could be as simple as Excel or Dropbox or social media feeds or Substacks or data repos or code repos like GitHub. These are the three platforms we mentioned before: desktop, service, and mobile. It's important to know that there's different terms that are going to be used: self-service, Power BI desktop, Power BI mobile, and self-service business intelligence. And then there's the question of how these fit together. And there's a process. You have data discovery, which is also known as extraction, ETL, extract, transform, and load. Then there's modeling, is what is the relationships? Do we have calculations? We'll look at some examples of those. There's the visualization. What kind of visuals can tell the story or give us the insights? Bars is just one. There's more. And then there's the Power BI service, which gives us a platform for publishing and sharing results, discrete sharing or controlled access sharing, and refreshing data. And then there's the mobile, which gives you even more access. I like this distinction that Pragmatic introduced: the roles of self-service BI. As you go on your journey, will come to a fork in the road. And the first fork may be, do you want to go down the data engineer track, where you might be a data wrangler or a data steward? You might be going down the track that says, I'm a data architect, right? Or you might not want to be nerd out on DAX formulas too deeply. So Power Analyst may be the destination that you're going for, or a business user, collaborative, enabler. I think that those are someone who actually has the line of business depth of knowledge and can bring that to the data science and the data engineering and the data analyst roles. So there's many sub roles in the BI world. We're going to look at the development lifecycle from discovery to modeling to visualization. In the tools, they have different capabilities. They get rendered. This is a snapshot of the desktop app showing some visuals. Then you've got engagement with IT. Oh my. So this is something that's gotten better over the years, where self-help is not reliant on the IT org. And so there's some business advantages: agility one, and impact another. So data discovery, data modeling, data visualization, those are the cycles. These are the roles. There's a query editor. There's a list of, in the tool, data sources. And this is a more detailed list of where data can be loaded in. It's pretty rich, isn't it? You get your databases, you got Azure Cloud, you've got online services. You can get data, you can load, transform, close. This is what the navigator within Power BI looks like. You've got transformation of data is a big deal. Sorting, filtering, using multiple values. Um, it works lots like Excel. Then there's the user interface, which has these transformations that you can make, removing, joining, splitting, replacing, changing the types, pivoting, um, trimming. These are grooming functions which everybody wants more of or capability, but no one wants to spend time with it. And I think AI can really make an impact in the future. I'm excited about what AI might do to enhance the transformation properties embedded in business intelligence tools like Power BI. And we'll see. We'll see how that rolls out with Microsoft. Here's an example. We can add a column. Then we can look at mQuery. This is another transformation language unique to Power BI. Found in the editor of Power BI, lets you do some transformation of data, very valuable, so it can be edited and read. And so here's some syntax guidance that is part of the Power BI. Okay, and nitty gritty of the code, the functions, the variables, the reference steps, each column, each row matters. What you have there, and it all is embedded within a let expression. So they also cover the development cycle with respect to modeling. And this is your classic star schema, where you've got your data model core is a fact table. It could be transactions and or website visitors. And then you've got these secondary tables that link to the primary table. Those are called dimension tables. And they relate to one another with a particular data point, right? So it can look like this, and it can also look like this when you expand it out. There can be some dimension tables that have relationships, and they're not connected to the fact table. So you've got these cardinal, and you've got one to many and many to one, and there's different relationships. So this is a snowflake schema. With modeling, it's important to groom the data that you have in the model so that you can get efficiencies. This optimizes disk space memory as well and increases speed. So this is a one that hasn't been normalized. You've got repetitive data, and it adds to the query time and the processing overhead. And when you're creating the relationships, you have an opportunity to set those up in an efficient way by not having redundancies. And the other thing is, you can, when you're doing your models, your table relationships can have particular types of dynamics, namely concatenated, manually defined, or role tables. There's different kinds. Okay, so I did say a splash of DAX. And so this is a data analysis expression language known as DAX. And it causes non-tech types to freeze up a little bit, and there's a world of DAX beyond this level. This is just an introduction here, but it's not as technical as SQL queries in Python. So the value for the pain of using DAX, learning DAX, is that you can do things like calculated columns, okay, and calculated tables and calculated measures. And when I show you a visual dashboard later, you'll see the significance of this, what it means. But here's an example of how in Power BI Desktop you have column tools that can be used to with your DAX expression to modify that. String manipulation. There's some examples of what that looks like. Some are familiar from Excel: concatenating, trimming, searching, replacing. This happens on a larger scale. Then you've got your functions, both conditional and logical. This pulls forward from Excel. Right? So if you're looking at this first time, it's not everything is new. The measures are key. You can view them in your visuals, and I think this is probably one of the cool things about having your visuals set up in Power BI. So this is how it looks with the menu choices and the DAX language for measured explicit and implicit measures. Here are some aggregate statistics, and we're still talking about the development cycle here. Right? So we've talked about the impact on the roles, the roles impact on the outcomes, and the tasks of each role. We're looking at the designer dimension here. Okay, so here's a picture, here's a visual of a map with the designer service, and it's tethered to some other visuals, trends, bars, scatters, which are all part of the platform. Here's a bigger list of them, more visualization types. So the best practice when you're like figuring out what the dashboard needs is to just whiteboard it, post note it, brainstorm it with the team, figure out what's really important, and go for it. Just map it out. Right? Here's some tips, best practices you don't want. Here's an example of what you don't want. This is called an eyesore. That's a headache. And you want to have something that's going to work. Right? Now, if you have calculated fields and you haven't properly implemented your DAX formula, it's going to be too slow. So here's some tips. Second rule: colors. Okay, are you thinking about you don't want to have like red and green? That's Christmas ornaments. Right? You want to have the right combination of colors. Formulas, pie charts may not be the right visualization to illustrate your point. So they have a place, but which visualization tells the information, tells the story you want told? So that's another part of this visualization acumen in the Power BI and the business intelligence world. Here's some examples with bar charts, line charts, and selecting the fields and the visualization types using the view filters. They go through examples there. Then filtering with slicers, pretty darn cool. Hierarchical levels of slicers. Here's some display methods, which is really key: tables, metrics, matrices, cards, multi-row cards. Those are the toolbox items for tabular data presented on your dashboard. Pretty good. Here is I call this a rug map. They call it a tree map. You can render a lot of data, and the visual of it is really efficient. Here's a line used for trends mostly. Here is a combination of two types. You got your line and your bar compounded. Call it a combo. Here's a scatter chart. This one, I use this with a platform, SEMrush, for SEO. This scatter chart shows relationship, size, dimension, magnitude. A lot of information presented. I like these. Um, Maps, geography, really great. And with Power BI, there's different map types. They have default map, they have Bing map, they have integration with ArcGIS. Uh, so there's um, certainly, and then Azure Maps, a lot of power behind the visualization, the geographic visualizations. Interactive gauges for executive and board level. This is a at a glance view, critical metric, uh, not burdened with a plethora of data like with a table or a matrix. Right, you've got your gauge. Really cool. Um, and then there's custom ones on top. So in the community, developers created enhanced or customized views that may not be present in the default groupings of visualizations in Power BI. Then there's the ability to publish it on the service. And in the cloud, you create a space, you pick your audience, and you push the send button, and now they have a web link that they can see it. Um, then there's the dashboard sharing, the interactive dimension done through messaging platforms like Teams, and then you can maintain the viability of the data through updates. Right? You can set them up to happen automatically, very quickly. You can render the same dashboard very easily in Power BI Mobile. Um, so whatever works on desktop, the same data, renderings, visualizations, work on the mobile device too. This is a good aspect for it. So you have more access to your mobile. All right. These are some mobile visualizations of the same types of things. There's QR code, barcode scanners, so you can share your report, and that's it. So my hope is that by spending time with me today on this Power BI intro, you've seen like a glimpse of what the Power BI platform out of the box can do. Let me show you an example of a dashboard, and I did talk about some of those capabilities, uh, like the slicers and the transformation and the measures. This is a dashboard that you can set up a slicer. So United States sales revenue from 2005 is shown on the dashboard. But if we change it to 2006, the dynamic aspects of all these visualization components changed too. The map changed, the data changed. It's a different year, it's a different rendering on the different visuals. Right? The table, the map, the bar chart, the combo bar chart, and the gauge. Let's see what happens as we go on. This one is quite advanced, and it shows the powerful capabilities. For example, this one is showing above or below the target. So the revenues of the team or the company were below the target in the months from January to July. And then when August came, they exceeded the target. So the bars turned green from red to green. So that renders data may not be obvious when you're looking at a table, for example. I really believe that this is how your data analyst earns their keep on the team. Right? It's be able to come up with renderings of data, simple renderings that an executive can pop it on their mobile phone or during a board meeting at a quick glance. They can dig in, they can see what's happening, and if they want to dig in, they can dig in. And that's it. Pretty good, huh? Stay tuned for next month. We're going to do this intermediate level. We'll probably cover more things in detail, and you'll walk away with a better sense for what the data analyst journey is like for Doug Skinner, too. Be well until then. Cheers.